So, like I said, I had many more thoughts and feelings about the game that I wasn't able to articulate right then after finishing it. I also had more to think about after reading some comments on other people's videos. Now, I could have just tacked this onto the end of my last video, but I kind of figured I'd waffled on for quite long enough at the end of that video, so I thought, whatever, I'll just make a new video. If you guys wanted to listen to my opinion, then you could watch this extra video, and that's entirely up to you. So, here we go. With some thought and reflection, as well as rewatching some parts of the game as I edited my own videos, I have decided that I do like The Last of Us Part 2. Yes, it took a lot of thought and reflection to come to this decision, since I was so unsure immediately after finishing the game, but as I said, rewatching some of the game and just having some time to sit and process what just happened, I think I can conclude that I do like the game. The first half was definitely my favourite, as opposed to second half. And yes, unfortunately, that means I like Ellie's half better than Abby's half. I really enjoyed the ride with Dina through downtown Seattle, and I love how it gave me some distinct Uncharted Lost Legacy vibes. You know, like with the map and using the map to traverse the landscape, and I liked that. It felt like home to me. Overall, though, I like the two halves of the game as separate games, rather than as one. So I'd like Ellie with her traversal of Seattle to hunt down Abby, using the group of the ex-Fireflies as like a breadcrumb trail. And then as a separate entity, I like Abby with the wolves. You get to see her in that environment, and you get to see how the wolves live in this day and age compared to, you know, the clan over at Jackson County. I liked seeing the different dynamics, and I liked the battle of the wolves against the Seraphites. It was a much more interesting situation that could easily, you know, happen in that kind of post-apocalyptic world. So yeah, I liked those two things as separate entities as opposed to together in one game. I don't really know how to get that across, but yeah, that. And unlike Ellie, I feel that Abby actually had some growth as a character. She learned to care for Yara and Lev, though I do feel that this growth and change was somewhat backtracked when she tried to kill Ellie in the theatre, but then she kind of got the progression back at the end when, you know, she didn't really want to kill Ellie. So yeah, I don't feel like Ellie progressed that much, but Abby did. There are a lot of people who are very angry about Joel's death. Some of it comes from the method of his death. From that standpoint, you know, the golf club and shooting his leg and stuff, I think it articulates the violence of that world, the cruelty of that world. You can't expect him to be sent off with a beautiful death and a memorial from the people who killed him and to make it all beautiful. It's like, no, this is a very violent, cruel, harsh world that they're living in, and his method of death matched that. So I don't have a problem with that at all. But aside from that, people had a problem that he died at all. They're blaming it on agendas, etc., etc., etc. But what these people need to understand is that Joel isn't a good man. He massacred so many people in his effort to save Ellie in the first game. Like, he did a really horrible, awful thing. Yes, it was for the right reasons, to protect someone he loved, but that doesn't excuse the wanton violence and murder he committed in doing so. He committed a heinous act, so it is not unbelievable that he was killed in retribution for these actions. Likewise, there is a lot of hate over having to play as the character who killed Joel, and funnily enough, I actually thought the same thing at first. It's one of the big reasons why, when I read the spoilers, I decided that I wasn't going to play either of these games. I didn't think that I would enjoy that. I didn't think it was necessarily a bad idea, just that I wouldn't like it. I didn't know that I would like the emotions that it would evoke by playing the person who just killed your beloved character. Like, that wouldn't have sat well with me. So I thought, nah, Last of Us, haven't played it up till now, don't really need to play it now, and I don't need to play the next one, so I had resigned myself to not playing them. But then, of course, as a spontaneous decision, courtesy of a coworker, I ended up playing The Last of Us, and therefore had to play part 2. But despite my knee-jerk reaction to it, which is the same as a lot of other people's, I do think the Naughty Dog has managed to fully justify this decision. They make us commit murder as Ellie. You know, we kill Alice, Mel, Owen, and like so many more. And we feel somewhat justified in doing so. I mean, I didn't even overly mind when I killed Alice. She was just another dog trying to kill me. I'd had my fill of those freaking dogs by that point in time. I was just defending myself. She had to go. But then we play as Abby. We see the world through her eyes. We understand her friendships, her thoughts. We fall in love with Alice. Oh, cute little Alice. We see the troubled relationship between Owen and Mel, and more like the fucked up relationship between the three of them, but let's not go there. And then we feel remorse for having killed all of these people, especially Alice. I felt so bad for killing Alice every single time I saw her on screen, because they made us kill all these characters and then retroactively made us love, well, like, at the very least, like these characters. So I feel that this is good writing. It's the ability to make a hated character likable, and conversely, to make a beloved character somewhat hateable. Well, her actions at least. I mean, I still like Ellie. But like Joel and his massacre, we still love the characters despite their actions. And so I can't help but love Abby in the end. I didn't want Abby or Ellie to kill each other, which was, you know, quite evident as I was playing. And those battles for life and death with the two of them together, I did not want either of them to die because I was attached to both. And people were angry that Ellie never got her revenge against Abby. To be fair, most of these people didn't actually play the game and they don't understand the shifting emotions and, I guess, motivations in the game. What they don't understand is that Ellie couldn't get her revenge in the end. I know I said I expected 60% expected Ellie to die. I also kind of 60% expected Abby to die, but having played through it, it was not possible for her to get her revenge. On the beach there, when she sat kind of morosely in the water and cried her heart out, she chose to forgive Abby, just as she had chosen to forgive Joel for his actions in the last game. This finally closed this theme of revenge and turned into one of forgiveness, which, if you think about it, was the underlying message in the game. All the flashbacks with Joel and Ellie, it was about Ellie learning forgiveness. And, of course, she probably saw a likeness, some sort of resemblance between her and Joel and Abby and Lev at the end. Joel did horrific things to survive. Abby has done likewise. In both cases, they changed by learning to care for someone else. So I think that may have played a part in Ellie's decision to forgive Abby at the end. So, yeah, I guess those are my final thoughts on the game. I mean, I'm probably still going to have more thoughts as I continue to process it and, you know, understand other people's reactions and then realize how I feel about their reactions, etc., etc. It's an ongoing evaluation, shall we say. But I do think, yeah, I enjoyed it. I appreciate the vision that Naughty Dog had in creating this game, and I think they've done a magnificent job of creating this world of violence and revenge and forgiveness, and quite frankly, a world where the infected aren't the biggest problem. It's really the humans that are the real threat. So thank you once again to Naughty Dog for this thought-provoking and entertaining narrative. And you guys, if you stayed around for the entire journey of the game, please let me know what you think of the game down below. If you have not watched the game or played the game, you probably shouldn't have an opinion because you haven't understood what this is about. But if you have watched or played the game, please let me know down below about your thoughts, because I'm curious how other people see it.